So in this video, I'm going to compare Plantation Xaymaca Jamaican Rum with the Appleton 8 and the Appleton 12-year-old. Now this is all part of my kind of Jamaican series. I am going down two rabbit holes here. Well, kind of a Jamaican rabbit hole in total, but the one thing I want to do is I want to pit all the Jamaican rums against each other because I've never done that. And this is all these rums will be up at my kind of, or underneath my sort of ceiling, $60 US, £50, 60 sort of euros, give or take in there. There are a couple of break that coming up over the month, but on the main, they are below that. So how does the Xaymaca fare against the Appleton? You'll see the Mai Tai there is because the other mission I've got is to find the ultimate one rum Mai Tai. Now let's just start off with the price comparison. We have to go there first. How does it compare? I've got the prices from my guys, Master of Malt in the UK. This is what my benchmark is. So we can buy this for £34, which is, I'm going to round down for this, $43 and then 40 euros, rounding up very slightly. So $43, 40 euros. So it is more expensive than the Appleton 8-year-old by about £4, by about sort of $6 or $7, by about sort of 5-6 euros. It's more expensive than that, but it is cheaper than the Appleton 12-year-olds. And of course it is, because it's not that heavily aged compared. Actually, it's not that heavily aged compared to both of them, but it's a 43%er and it is 100% pot still rum from Jamaica. And let's just emphasize another thing here before we go down the old aroma. You know, Plantation has this kind of, oh, it's all sweetened, it's all sweetened. A lot of their rums actually aren't sweetened. You know, this has zero dosage, zero additives in it at all. So it is just pure pot still Jamaican rum. And already, even after a couple of seconds, this offers me, just off the aroma, everything I think Jamaican rum is. And I'm not saying that's Appleton is not Jamaican rum. It's just that this smell, this aroma is what we would naturally assume Jamaican rum is. Now, I've gone down this point before because Appleton is the biggest selling brand from Jamaica. It is. So should we actually be thinking of Jamaican rum being like that? Or should we actually think of Jamaican rum being heavily esters, banana, funk? Because that's what that is in spades. So how can I sum this up? It is more fruit-led than anything else, although there is that barrel aging behind it. There is that funk, high esters, banana, that's all there in abundance. You know, you do get a nod to pineapple, tropical fruits, maybe even sort of maybe a mango on there as well. But there is that sort of gluey, solvent-y, estery kind of vibe that you get off pot still rums. That you do not lose that. That's there. And to dumb that right down, let's go down glue. You know, it's that kind of yoo-hoo white glue, wood glue kind of vibe that I get off there. But you know, there's a tiny bit of vanilla, there's a tiny bit of barrel aging off there, but it is the best way I can describe that for those that kind of the sort of entry level to Jamaican rum. That is an in-your-face Jamaican funky banana-y high ester rum. Now on the taste, personally, now that I'm firmly in my rum journey, I prefer this to both of those. There is that lovely fruit character that I miss off those. That is, the Appleton 8 has got a bit of fruit, but it is nothing like this. That funky Jamaican fruit, that banana, that tropical, that pineapple, with that ester, with that funk vibe to it, is actually kind of what I like. But it's a much, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not heavily aged. And I think that's why I personally like it. Because I emphasize the point again, just so you can gauge my palate, so you can adjust it to yours. I like younger aged rums. Now, don't think of that as less, it is less barrel aged in those notes, less oak, less caramel, less toffee, less burnt sort of caramel kind of vibes off there, less vanilla vibes in here than what you get off there, less dried fruit. But it still punches in alcohol, it's pot still. And this for me is kind of what I like in a Jamaican rum. The downsides that I possibly give you is that the finish isn't as long as what those two are. Those two have got a much longer finish. But the finish on this is what you want, or what I want from a Jamaican rum. It is, the finish is still there now. I've got a little bit of a prickly heat, like a honey ginger kind of heat coming on there on the back, but it's slowly dying out now, whereas the Appleton 8 and the Appleton 12 both live on for a long, long time on there. But let's make no bones about it. If I'm in the mood for something a bit fruitier with that Jamaican vibe to it, this for me, I would personally pick for neat sipping over the Appleton 8 and the Appleton 12. Now, again, I'm just gonna, because I like to sit on the fence, I like to kind of explain things. If you're coming from whiskey world, if you're coming from neat spirit world, you're probably still at the Appleton 12. You probably are, because it is more heavily aged. It has got that more of that wood, that barrel flavouring off there than what this has. But it's an older rum. Of course it is. This is lighter. But this delivers in ways that either of those don't. So Mai Tai test, again, as you'll have noticed, I'm just going to point this out. I'm trying to do the 43 percenters all in the same sitting. So I've done the 2 Appletons in a video. I'm going to do the Xaymaca, and I'm going to do the next one in the same sitting as here. So I've got a benchmark of roughly of where my head is, and then I'll make another Mai Tai in a separate filming session, exactly the same, and then kind of do the benchmarks again beside it to do the next one. So now, the Xaymaca. Honestly, and this is not my love of Plantation, because I don't know how the rest of the rums are going to pan out. The next one, I've never tasted before. It might blow Plantation out of the water. But this is a 1 rum Mai Tai, absolutely, I was going to use a swear word, but peas all over those two as a 1 rum Mai Tai. That, hands down, I would be quite happy putting it on a bar menu and selling it. This does exactly everything I kind of want that the Appletons don't. It gives you oomph. It gives you pot still. It gives you like that funk. It's just a great Mai Tai. Now, bearing in mind, it is just that Mai Tai, but that is so that would have slightly less Xaymaca in it, but a little bit of Plantation OFTD for a little bit of oomph. And if I'm being brutally honest, I think I do like that extra oomph that I get from the Plantation OFTD in there. But I'm getting towards why, from this, of why the original Mai Tai with that, the word is pungent, you know, Ray and Nephew 17-year-old had that pungent Jamaican kind of vibe to it, of why pot still suits it a lot more than blended sort of pot and column. Because honestly, there is side by side, there is absolutely zero comparison from that to that. But I do think, I'm pretty sure the rest of the Jamaican rums I've got coming are also pot still. So this is like the first one. In the next video, I've got to make sure I get the right one. It's this one. In the next video, this is not even open yet. It's still sealed. I've got the higher ABV one there coming later in the series. In the next video, I've got no idea what that tastes like, but we're putting that up against this, and this is another 43%er.